0 to where they are now as seniors in high school. And they are our junior deacons helping lead worship today. How proud we are. This is the second sermon within the last couple of weeks where I begin by quoting billboards on Route 95. Coming south from New Haven around Orange is the first one. When you die, you will meet God. And the background is one of those heart monitors that you see in the ICU where the lines go up and down before they flatline and you're dead. The billboard theologian allows that to sink in for a couple of miles, and then around Bridgeport is the next one. Are you going to heaven or hell? With the word hell set against the background of hellfire flames. Someone has gone through a lot of effort and a lot of expense to make us think about the changes that we should make before it's too late. Now, you don't have to believe in hellfire and brimstone to believe in change. I never met anybody who gave up smoking because they didn't want to go to hell. We, me included, gave up smoking because we didn't want to die before our time. And usually because people we love kept hounding us. Dad, Grandma, dear, please stop. We want you around for a long time. And so, by hook or by crook, we change. And the simple truth, hellfire or not, is that we all need some change. Today's scripture lesson is a perfect description for most of us when it comes to our faith life. We have good days and bad, ups and downs. Sometimes we're saints, sometimes not. I have never forgotten my gym teacher at PS 90 in Queens dragging me in front of the school, announcing to everyone that my father was a church pastor, and then shouting at me saying, I don't know how a good man like your father gave birth to a demon like you. Now, forget for a moment the biology of that statement. He was simply recognizing that my own 10-year-old personal Christ-like life wasn't a straight line. We all mess up. And St. Peter is a perfect example. He's called St. Peter because more often than not, he did things right. But lots of times he messed up. He was one of the first disciples that Jesus called. He was the first disciple to openly declare that Jesus was the Christ, the Son of God. He was the only disciple to try to rescue Jesus when Jesus was arrested. And Peter was the disciple who really led the early Christian church those formative years after the resurrection. But it wasn't all a straight line for him either. After Jesus was arrested, Peter was the one who denied even knowing Jesus 3 times. When Jesus was being crucified, Peter ran away and hid. On Easter, when the women reported about the resurrection, Peter sneered. But our scripture story's got to be the best one for our purposes this morning. A picture-perfect example of the ups and downs of faith, even among the saints among us. On the occasion of this particular Bible story, Jesus had worked a particularly interesting miracle, feeding a humongous crowd of people with just a few loaves of bread and a couple of tiny fish. And Jesus ends the day by telling his disciples to get into a boat, to go across the lake ahead of him, and he'll catch up. So the disciples head off in the boat. There is a storm afoot. They're far away from land. They're getting scared. They look out across the water, and there's Jesus coming toward them, walking on water. Not swimming, not body surfing. Jesus is walking on water. And the Bible says the disciples are terrified. They think it must be a ghost, but Jesus assures them that it's he in the flesh, so to speak. At which point the Bible says the not yet St. Peter hops over the side of the boat and lands on the water. Not in the water, on the water. And lo and behold, Peter begins walking on the water. Now, throughout Jesus' life, especially toward the end, which is where this story comes in, he was trying to convince the disciples that they had the capability to carry on his work, that they were equal to any task. And here was Peter doing exactly what Jesus had done. That was terrific. Something miraculous, something impactful, something supernatural, something extraordinary, something convincing, something confidence-building, until Peter looked down and he saw the water. And he looked out and he saw water all around him. And Peter lost it. And he began to sink. Whatever he had, he lost it. Faith, confidence, trust. Whatever had got him to leap forward in the first place and take those first few steps of a miracle. Whatever change had come upon him in his life to empower him, he lost it in a moment. And the Bible says Peter began to sink, crying out to Jesus, Lord, save me. Peter is a poster boy for messing up and for the very human need to discover lasting change. I thought today would be a good day to talk about messing up, because we've got the men from Pivot House here, as we do 3 times a year. And we've got, 36, 40 men here today. Let's say 36. All 36 have messed up their lives. And yet they have the courage to stand up here before us on Sundays all over churches in Connecticut, up on the altar, and show the 2 sides of the coin, messing up and fixing up. Down, then up. In church language, we call it sin redemption. Our pivot men have the gumption to do 3 things. Number 1, they know they've messed up. They admitted it. At some point in their lives, they woke up and they wanted change. Now, maybe for a third of them, that came from a spouse or a parent, even a child. Some loved one said to them, you messed up, you need to change, or else. And maybe for another third, it was the government, the police, the court system, society, or an employer. Some outside agent said to them, you've messed up, we don't trust you, we don't want you around anymore, you need to change, or else. And maybe for a third, it was personal. It was waking up one day and saying, I'm done with that, I need help, I'm going to change. Whichever third it was, God bless them, because that's number 1. They knew they had to change. Number 2, they entered a long-term program. No easy fix, no shortcuts. You go to Pivot House, you enter a strict, disciplined, Spartan world. You work, coursework, therapy work, physical work, spiritual work, choir practice work. Even being here this morning is work. They're not sleeping in late at home. They're not at their kids' soccer game. They're here with us for 4 hours. Now, I've been a pastor for a lot of years, and I've been helping folks with addiction and abuse all of those years. And it usually follows a predictable course. You get in trouble. Drug bust, car accident, embarrassing incident at a party, and the cops, the family, the boss, they come down on your head. At that point, people want help, not change. I.e., how do I get out of this mess quick? And they'll promise anything. They'll do anything as long as it's fast, over and done. No change. We're all great 24-hour conversions. We mess up, we get caught, we're sorry, we feel bad, we'll do better for 24 hours until the guilt wears off. Because, especially at the beginning, we don't really want change. We just want the incident over with. These men may have even tried a quick fix, maybe an altar call at church, maybe a single AA meeting, or a sober house for a week, but not enough effort, not enough change, not enough time. There's an AA commitment that I really admire. It's called 90 in 90. Once you admit you have a problem, you commit to change. You do 90 AA meetings in 90 days. Why? Because 90 is a lot. 90 is a lot of meetings. 90 days is a lot of days. 90 shows that you've made a commitment to change, just like our pivot men. Number 3, what these guys have done, no hiding. They're up here. Even the lyrics of their songs talk about being broken, about being defeated, about shackles, because that mirrors their experiences in their own life. So is there a takeaway from our Bible study about Peter and our men from Pivot House today? Plain and simple, change is work, and change is a process. Change takes time. Now, I know there is such a thing as sudden conversions, like St. Paul, killing Christians one day and then preaching Christ the next day, or people that go cold turkey and they just turn around on a dime, and that's wonderful. But in my experience, that's less than 2% of the population that can do that. Mostly it's a process. We may all need change. Might be change in behavior, or lifestyle, or attitude, or friends, or perception. If you can't think of something in your life that needs changing, then you're not thinking hard enough. And I'm hoping that we would all use today as motivation These men have taken a giant step in their life, a courageous step, a costly step in their lives. So how can I stand up here in the pulpit and not be willing to think of some things in my life that ought to change? My TV package includes 4 religious channels where preachers buy half hour, an hour to give their message. And this week I listened to a great preacher from Nigeria, and he was good. He was very tough. He was very, very definite. Nigeria is mostly known for what? Corruption, scams, email scams, right? Like this one. Dear David, I'm writing you because you are a world known as a Christian leader. My late husband was chief minister of finance. He was killed in a car accident. Now I have nothing. But he left $10 million in a bank in Europe. I'll give you $5 million if you'll just send me $20,000 to take care of all the fees. My children are crying. We await your call. In Jesus' precious name, Mary Martha Elizabeth Jones. We've all got those. And that, unfortunately, is what Nigeria has become known for. A level of corruption that has undermined that nation and kept it from prospering. So this preacher from Nigeria, he was standing tall in the pulpit, going after corruption and cheating of every kind, high and low, in government, in society, in schools, in neighborhood, at the local market, in marriage. And he says, how do we shortchange others? How do we cut corners? How do we white lie and shade the truth? And he gave example after example: shoddy construction, bribes and blackmail, contracts and promises broken willy-nilly. What that preacher was doing was begging his church to do what the Pivot House men have done. See where they need to change. He was counting on his church members to help rebuild Nigeria from inside out. There are 2 quotes I love. They're actually kissing cousins to each other. One comes from Mahatma Gandhi. Be the change you wish to see. We all can think of the changes we want somebody else to make in society, in politics, in the media, in business, in civility. Gandhi says, be the change yourself. You start the change now. Leo Tolstoy said the same thing. Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing themselves. My mother said the same thing. Every time you point a finger at somebody, there's 3 more pointing right back at you. We are ground zero for change. Let me bring this sermon back to Peter and back to us. First, how can we change in a way that would really make a difference in our lives? Our Pivot House men, they're not saving the world from environmental crisis. They're not curing cancer. They're not building a business empire yet. They've chosen to start and focus small on themselves. I played baseball for a lot of years, and I learned some lessons doing that about catching and hitting. As a hitter, like all hitters, you go into a slump for a week or 2. For 1 month, you hit everything that's thrown at you. Single, double, triple, all-star stuff. And then all of a sudden, 1 week, you lose it and you can't hit anything. What to do? The Yankees had a Hall of Fame shortstop, Phil Rizzuto. And he was from my part of Queens, so I sort of grew up on his advice. And he said, when you go into a slump and you can't hit, you can't do what you know you're supposed to be doing, bunt. Stop swinging so hard. Stop swinging for the fences. Bunt. Bunt is the smallest thing that you can do in baseball. You break hitting down to its smallest component. Ball hits bat, period. Now, when I was a catcher, as you might guess, my job was to catch. A pitcher throws the ball, I'm supposed to catch it. Sometimes an infielder or an outfielder throws the ball, and I'm supposed to catch it. But 1/3 of the time, pitcher, infielder, outfielder, they throw the ball wildly. In the dirt, to my right, to my left, always in the dirt. What to do? My father taught me what to do. Every athlete has a friend who hates sports. So, you enlist that friend. He loves to talk, hates sports, so you enlist him. You give him a ball, you put him 15 feet away, you let him talk while he throws the ball in the dirt. And you do that for an hour. When I got to college, lo and behold, that was practice on the baseball team at Colgate. They actually would stake a behemoth about 15 feet away from me just to throw a ball 100 miles an hour in the dirt. Why? To focus. Forget the game, forget the runner, forget the pitcher, forget the batter. Focus on the one thing. Catch the doggone ball. most change that you and I need in our lives is that direct. Start small. Break it down into its simplest component and work on it. All right, we'll end with Peter. Big, bad, brash Peter. He loved to be in the limelight, loved to be the go-to guy. But truth of the matter is, most of the time he was just like us. Sometimes he walked on water, and sometimes he sank. And sometimes he promised Jesus to move, and sometimes he denied even knowing it. Sometimes he defended Jesus to the death, and sometimes he fell asleep on the job. One time Jesus called him the devil, and another time Jesus said, "You're the kind of man I'm going to build the church around." And he ended up being St. Peter, because every time he failed, he was smart enough to cry out, "Lord, save me." He was smart enough to put in the time, and he was smart enough to change. Today, our Pivot House men have inspired us. They've made the decision to change. They're on the way. Good for them. And when we leave to church today, we might throw in a 10 or 20 or check in the soup can, and that's good for us. But the best good would be to take them to heart. They're taking a big step toward change. Let's honor them with our own steps. Like Peter, let's not be too proud to call out, "Lord, save me." And let's not be too proud to bunt. Before we leave today, instead of a final hymn, I'm going to ask you to do a repeat. And if you would come up and do "Let Every Praise." Would you be willing to close our worship service that way? All right, men, come on up. If you haven't heard this one, you're going to love it.
Let's give a little hand praise.